Two Sides, Spiteful and Determined. Chapter 6. The Carry-On Circle. First things first, we hit the Mendoza residence again because that's where all the answers are. There is no reason for us to be out in the streets when our guy is potentially right in front of us. Suit up, crew. Scott commanded. Beth's heels clicked and clacked on their tile floor. She turned to her daughter. Do you think I should bring a change of shoes? Grace pondered. You never know when we are going to have to make an arrest. In this case, it's the men's job unless we discover women are involved, but I've made arrests in heels back in the olden days. Grace giggled. Okay, Mom, we get it, you're iconic. The car ride to the Mendoza house felt a lot more optimistic than yesterday. It was a new day, which meant new opportunities. Scott was the first one up the stairs and the first to start pounding on the door. Open up, Gabriel. Rise and shine. A couple minutes went by, then the sound of locks clicking came from the other side of the door. Marcos answered with a confused look. We have quiet hours around here. We gave you till 10, which is way past your quiet hours. Thank you very much. Beth sassed. Scott showed himself in. The smell of burnt coffee and cigarette smoke lingered in the air. Scott sat directly in front of Gabriel while the rest of the bounties made themselves at home. May we search? He asked. Gabriel looked at Marcos but ultimately agreed without hesitation. Dewey and Justin headed into the additional rooms in the apartment for a follow-up search. Each time finding something new that they didn't find last time. Did you guys sleep well? Scott asked. Gabriel nodded again. He mumbled, I don't know how you guys could with all your lies. Justin handed over a short stack of papers to his dad. Scott quickly examined them, then the interview began. Gabriel, who else lives in this apartment? Just me and Marcos. Scott rolled his eyes. Are you going to waste my time again and try to go back and forth with me for hours? Let me ask you again, who lives here? Gabriel answered in a stern voice. I am being truthful. It is just Marcos and I at the moment. Okay, then why are we finding things in your closets like birthday cards, credit card statements, clothes? That obviously belongs to other people. Well, Antonio and his girlfriend did live here with their baby, but they just up and left. Really? And how long ago was this? Scott replied. Just recently. Antonio left first, he took off, then his girlfriend Maria flipped out and took the baby. We don't know where they went. Recently? I thought you said you didn't have any interaction with Antonio for a year. Gabriel was stunned that he let that slip. Did I say recently? I meant recently, like meaning this year, at the beginning of this year. And here we go again with the lying. Gabriel muttered some gibberish in Spanish. Is going to jail what you want? Because I can make that happen. Gabriel hesitated with his dead brain. He couldn't handle the pressure of the agents to come up with another lie. He looked out the window to the Carry-On Circle condo and suddenly a light bulb went off. Okay, enough is enough. Do you want to know the truth? I'm ready to talk. That's what we expected since we first got here. Beth exclaimed from the door. Shh. Beth let him speak. Gabriel looked at Marcos and took a deep breath. There are some people living in one of the apartments across the way who are like family to us, and I think they could be really helpful to this situation. Marcos can take you there. Okay, we will go right now. Me and Dewey will go while Scott and Justin you stay here. Beth ordered. Marcos shook his head at Gabriel. Gabriel muttered to Scott, there is more. They are all Antonio's minions and they all are in serious connection with him. They are called the Carry-On Circle, and what you can find in there will put a lot of people behind bars. I'm not sure who is in there or who you'll find, but they always try and get things out of us. If we go up there and search their place, what are we going to find? I've never been inside, but I know they have guns, any kind of drug you can think of, and probably so much more. Shit. Scott reached for his radio. Beth, wait, don't go in there, wait for us. We just got word that this is a lot bigger than we are expecting and we need full force to attack this. Justin, come on, let's go. Gabriel, you stay put, I don't want you dying on us. I'll stay with him. Grace said. Scott and Justin booked it down the stairs. You get around back and make sure nobody jumps out the window. Scott shouted to Justin. Where is Dewey? He went to get the building manager to open the door for us. Beth replied. Good, but if it comes down to it, I'll kick this door in. Scott turned to Marcos. How many people are we estimating being in there? Marcos shrugged with a terrified look on his face. There is usually always somebody there. Justin came over the radio. Talk to me, Dad, how we doin'? Waiting at the bottom of the stairs for the manager. Any second and we strike. Over dash. Dewey and the building manager ran in a beeline towards the apartment. Scott extended his hand for a shake. How we doing, man? How many people do you know of that are living here? He responded, honestly, I get word there is always people coming and going along with staying over, but there is only one name on the lease. A man of the name Antonio Mendoza. Oh my God. Beth muttered. Oh my God is right. Everyone suit up and load the pepper guns. We have no idea what we are getting into and we have to remain as safe as possible. Marcos stood at the bottom of the stairs holding his breath. Scott whispered to the building manager, as soon as you open that door either get down or move out of the way. The building manager lined the key up and slowly twisted the knob. The countdown began. Get down. Scott yelled. 6 men and women froze in the living room. Needles and syringes dropped from one's hand and one knocked over a cup of mysterious liquid. Woo! Smells like crack in here. Beth shouted. Dewey's jaw dropped. Whoa. I've seen a lot of people's lifestyles, but this was a first. Literal used syringes displayed on the counter, cocaine-stained lines on the floor, what used to be white carpet now was brown. This was something you only saw in movies, he thought to himself. Found 2 more in here. Scott shouted. Is Antonio hidden away in here? Beth asked the randoms in the living room. To which all shook their heads no, with their hands up in the air. Scott came over the radio. Grace, it's safe to bring Gabriel over here, we have the place detained. We will need help identifying who's wanted and who's not. By the looks of it, all these mofos are going to jail though. Grace switched places with Justin and watched the back. We need many trained hands on board up here. Beth and Scott browsed through the closet to find boxes and boxes of check paper, driver's licenses, and printers. They got a serious operation going here. She said. Yeah, no kidding. This is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. There are some smart people behind this and I don't think it's the people out there. Scott replied. He turned to the 2 randoms sitting in the corner with their faces buried. Who did all this? I know it ain't you 2 or anybody here because nobody even knows what planet they are on. No response from them. Beth picked up a handful of driver's licenses. Well, here are the most recurring IDs. People by the name of Jennifer, Susan, Sam, Jake, it goes on and on. Who are they? Gabriel asked as he entered the apartment. Dewey was puzzled. What do you mean? Isn't this who you were expecting? No, where is Hallie, Zay, Zed, you know the main people. Gabriel wandered into the main bedroom to find Scott and Beth digging through the fake ID box. You recognize any of these people? Scott asked. Gabriel hesitated. I can't believe this whole scam was going on 100 feet from my house. Yes, or no? Scott said in a stern voice. Gabriel glanced at the driver's licenses and shook his head. Boxes and boxes of fake checks. We gotta get LCPD in here right now. Beth turned to Gabriel. Did you ever realize your son was the ringleader of a huge identity theft and check ring? No, he isn't. All these people just do favors for him, but he isn't involved in this. I don't know any of these people. Beth chuckled. Really? Then you don't recognize this guy at all? Gabriel was at a loss for words seeing his son's picture on the ID. Yup, that's what I thought. Hate to break it to you, Gabriel, but now we have solid evidence on Antonio regardless of his current charges. Beth, please have a little mercy. We are being framed, we didn't make those or have anything to do with those. She laughed in his face and walked back into the living room. She shouted, how'd your guy's picture get onto these IDs? One of the randoms mumbled, I don't know, that's not me. Really, it isn't now? She held the ID side by side with his face. Sure looks like it to me. Whoa 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 Dad, do we come look at this? Justin pulled a large cardboard box from underneath the bed with assault rifles, shotguns, handguns, and ammo for it all. Justin's voice quaked, all fully loaded too. Scott shouted into his radio, Grace, get on the phone with police now. 111 Eastern Farm condos. He turned back to his boys, leave everything how it is, it's in the police's hands now. Justin held one of the shotguns with a sheet. Wait, check this out. Sawed-off shotgun. Looking at all of these guns, they all have some kind of illegal modification to them. No serial numbers either. Felony. This is all major evidence in this case. This has turned out bigger than we thought, to say the least. Scott responded. Wait. Gabriel exclaimed, I know her too, and them. What are you talking about? Gabriel held up 5 IDs from the big box. Let's see, we have Olivia, Ember, John, Kevin, and Tim. Dewey read aloud, how do you have connections to these people? These were the main people I was expecting to be here. This right here, her name isn't really Olivia, it's Hallie Burns. This one is Bryn Lands, these three's A. Thomas, Zed Lewis, and Caden Cross. All of Antonio's friends, and I've seen them here in this apartment many times. So where are they now? Justin asked. I don't know, I never kept in contact with them, but they definitely are the ones who created all of this. Just then the sounds of sirens traveled through the open windows. Beth joined the boys back in the bedroom. Those poor souls out there are useless with revealing any information. It's only I don't know Beth, or I've never seen them before. I know them as this dash. Well, the cops are here so they can figure out what to do with them. We don't have time to take 8 potential fugitives to jail when we just added 6 more wanted ones to our list. Scott smirked. It was just Justin in the bedroom now. Gabriel was down with Marcos and Scott was still trying to get information out of the randoms. He reached in the box of driver's licenses and kept pulling out the same faces. Until one. He gasped as he saw a new face. The face of someone who isn't so innocent anymore. Zorro? Justin questioned. Justin and Scott called from the other room. Without hesitation he threw this ID deep in his pocket. This could be the key to the portal.